week on UAE Weekly, the increasingly popular business of counterfeit auto parts. Fake car parts may be cheaper to purchase, but at what cost? Is Islamic insurance only for Muslims? We speak to the CEO of Noor Takaful, Mr. Parvaiz Siddiq, on the changing perceptions of Takaful Insurance. And now that the new school year is well underway, what factors do parents need to consider when choosing the right school environment for their children? The business of counterfeit auto parts is an increasing trade. Despite continuous efforts from the public and private sectors, unscrupulous traders and companies continue to illegally profit in the country. With the UAE a popular trading hub, car manufacturers such as Nissan Middle East say the menace of fake car parts is real and dangerous. While flouting rules and cutting corners may save a few dirhams, they say it can cost lives.
The counterfeit industry worldwide is estimated at trillions of dollars according to experts. Car manufacturers, for instance, face losses in excess of $10 billion annually, says Rashid Mehdi Khan, Senior Manager of After-Sales Operations and Automotive Associated Business for Nissan Middle East. While it hurts a company's profit in a way, he says the real question is, can customers afford to lose?
Oil filter is the most common part which is being counterfeited. Oil filter, it's just a shell. It doesn't filter your oil. It doesn't, clean your oil from the impurities. It's just a piece. You fix it there, and you are then literally spoiling your engines. It doesn't do the job, but you don't realize it immediately. You would realize the losses over a period of time. The normal windshield glass is just a piece of glass, whereas the genuine windshield glass is filled with gas, which is very good. In case if you have an impact, this glass breaks into small pieces and it doesn't cause you any damage. But if it is a glass, the real glass, it breaks into sharp pieces and it could harm you.
In addition to oil filter, the most common items imitated include fuel filter and brake pads. He says while many of such items come from Pakistan and India, majority are manufactured in China and Taiwan.
Another challenge is the total amount of incoming and outgoing cargo. For example, in Jebel Ali alone, if my figures are correct, we have around 1.4 million containers coming in, which is like in excess of 120,000 containers a month, meaning around 8,000 containers a day. You can't expect our customs inspectors to inspect each and every container on that. So they rely more on the declaration by the customer. Now, these customers are misdeclaring their cargo. So unless and until people like us as Nissan and other manufacturers try to help the government, the agencies, the customs, the municipalities, I think then it will be much easier for us to catch the infringers and book them for their crime.
Khan says the problem of counterfeit is global, but is more rampant in the country since the UAE is a distribution hub for the region. There is a huge market for these duplicate items in Saudi Arabia, Africa, and other parts of the GCC.
Dubai is one of the one of the best in controlling these, because, say, for example, Jebel Ali Port has container scanners. They have one of the most excellent facilities if you consider on a global basis. But we have other ports in the region. For example, Ajman, for example, Ras Al Khaimah, for example, Fujairah. Now we have to understand, do all the other incoming ports or these ports have the same facility or similar facility like Jebel Ali? Probably the answer is no. So if till and until these facilities, these ports also have the similar facilities like Jebel Ali, we will still be having the similar problem, because if we try to stop the illegal cargo coming in from Jebel Ali, then the cargo might route it through Ajman, or might route it through Ras Al Khaimah, or might route it through Fujairah.
While the ongoing efforts of different authorities are helping deter the fake items from proliferating in the market, counterfeiters are evolving and becoming increasingly sophisticated.
We have to be ever-changing in our approaches to catch these infringers and then go ahead with our implementation of our actions.
At present, he says many are compromising on quality and safety due to low income, lack of awareness, and education. In response, Nissan Middle East as well as other companies carries out workshops to educate government entities and the public on identifying the genuine deal from the fake ones.
We as manufacturers, we have developed our websites, and we ask our customers to go visit there to get some education with regards to counterfeit parts, with regards to genuine parts, advantages, and so on.
According to Nissan, the battle against counterfeiters continues to rage on. While there has been considerable improvement, it will take time. The most important thing is to ensure consumers know and have a choice to invest wisely or be taken for a ride. Khadija Sali, UAE Weekly.
There are 6 major pillars that make up the Islamic economy: Islamic finance, halal food, halal lifestyle, halal travel, SME development, and Islamic economy infrastructure. It is an industry that is valued at trillions of dollars globally, and earlier this year, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, UAE's Vice President, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, revealed his vision for Dubai to become the global capital of the Islamic economy. Making up only a small part of this huge industry is Takaful, or Islamic insurance. So what are the main differences between Takaful and conventional insurance? And is Takaful insurance only for Muslims, or is it increasingly appealing to non-Muslims as well? We sat down with the CEO of Noor Takaful, Mr. Parvaiz Siddiq, to find out more about this modest yet vital sector within Islamic finance. Let's begin by earlier this year when His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, UAE's Vice President, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, unveiled his vision for Dubai to become the global capital of the Islamic economy in a bid to boost the exposure of an industry that's already valued at trillions of dollars globally. Now, looking at Takaful, or Islamic insurance, in the country as is globally, it is still a very small part of this overall industry. In your opinion, what's the perception of Islamic insurance, and do you think that perception is changing?
See, Takaful is a growing segment of the industry. If you look at today, Takaful is about 5% of total UAE premiums. And we believe any initiative which supports the growth of Islamic finance in Dubai, and in general, anything which has to do with Islamic economy, would be useful for the growth of the Takaful industry. Because Takaful grows on the back of the demand from the Islamic financial institution. So one primary driver of a growth for Takaful is the Islamic financial institution. So the more lending that happens in Islamic sector, the more products are introduced by the Islamic bank, all these lead to a growth of a Takaful industry. Further, the industries which are specifically designed towards Sharia economy or Islamic economy would lead to a growth in Takaful, because they will demand products from Takaful industry which are specifically for their industry. So for example, if we look at halal meat producers and they need a Takaful, they will need a Takaful product because they have to make their offer end-to-end Takaful. So it's important for them to have a Sharia compliant insurance. And all these initiatives which help to grow the economy and especially the Islamic financial sector will help Takaful industry to grow.
Now, Takaful Insurance has to compete with regular insurance. Can you point out what the main differences are between Islamic insurance and conventional insurance?
See, Takaful has been designed on the concept of mutual solidarity, mutual cooperation, right? And the way Takaful is organized is in such a way that people come together, the policyholders come together, and they come together with the promise to help each other. So this is a fundamental difference between a conventional insurance company and a Takaful company, where in a conventional insurance company, you pay premium and risk is transferred to the shareholder of that company. Whereas in Takaful company, you pay the premium, the risk remains with the policyholder, and each policyholder comes together in a mutual way to help the other policyholders in case of there is an accident or a loss. That's one fundamental difference. Other area of a difference between a conventional company and a Takaful company is the way Takaful companies are structured. For example, Takaful companies cannot invest money in interest-bearing instruments. So all effort is towards investing money into sectors which are interest-free. That's one fundamental area of difference. Other is the way the contracts are structured. The contract is structured in such a way where people contribute money as a donation, and any amount of money that is left in the pool on the policyholder fund does not belong to the shareholder. The shareholders cannot take that money. Only thing Takaful operator can take is a share of a profit or a fee, depending on what Takaful model we are following. So if we are following a Takaful model of Wakala, then we take a fee. If we are following a Mudarba model, then we take a percentage of the profit. But all of this is pre-agreed. So the shareholders cannot come at the end of the year and seeing the profit can decide whether they want to take a higher amount of fee or a profit. So everything is agreed. And if there is a balance left in the policyholder fund, which is the money that policyholder gave, and we pay all the claims, and if there is anything left after paying the fee and everything, then actually that money belongs to the policyholder, which is not the case in case of a conventional company. If there is a profit in the policyholder fund, then that profit belongs to the shareholder of the company. So that's one fundamental difference between the Takaful and a conventional company.
Looking at Wakala, it's my understanding that Noor Takaful's business model is founded based on the Sharia principles of Wakala. Can you further explain what this is?
What we do basically, we are a Takaful operator and we manage the fund on the behalf of the policyholder. So to manage the fund, we need to charge a fee. So for example, whenever a person pays us a premium, what we do, we take a upfront fee from the premium. And that fee is used to pay all our administrative expenses and so forth. But other than that fee, we cannot take anything away from the policyholder. And our responsibility is to manage the business on their behalf, pay the claims, arrange all the reinsurance structures, whatever is required, we do that. That's what the fundamental concept of Wakala is, that you are an agent managing on the behalf of the policyholder.
So who are your consumers? Who in the past has been more attracted to the business components of Takaful Insurance, and is this changing?
See, primary consumer for any Sharia compliant or a Takaful entity would be a Muslim, right? But we don't define our market in that narrow sense. We look at Takaful as an alternative to an insurance structure. It's an alternative insurance structure which is available to everybody. So it's available to Muslims, non-Muslims, without any distinction. Because what we provide is a service, which is essentially identical to what insurance companies do. So we define our market in a very broad sense. We don't define a market in a narrow sense whereby we are saying that our consumers are only Muslims. We are saying our consumers, anybody who wants insurance and who sees the value can come. Now, particularly going to our Muslim customers, they want a Sharia compliant product. So we follow very high standard of a Sharia compliance in terms of our Sharia board, in terms of our internal processes. So they can be rest assured that the product that we are providing to them is fully Sharia compliant. But if somebody who is not Muslim and wants to buy, he will see the value for money in our products. We provide all products which are comparable to any of best available products in the market. So this is how we define our customer in the market. For us, the market is everybody, right? And specifically, if we look at a Muslim customer, then, as I said, we follow the highest standard of compliance that is possible. And so they can rest assured the product that we are selling is compliant.
We will go to a short break now, but up next we continue our conversation with Mr. Siddiq. Stay with us.